Hello and welcome. Thank you to the We Love Nogales studio for having us here today. My name is Rachel Sedgwick. I'm the ESSER III Grant Director for Mr. Velasquez's office, the Santa Cruz County School Superintendent, and I'm here with our arts programming directors so that we can talk just a little bit about the innovative programs in the arts that we've brought to Nogales and Santa Cruz County. And I would first like to introduce our arts director, Aisa Huerta.
Nice to meet you. Rachel, what's ESSER?
So ESSER, thank you, good question. And some people in the community know it, but ESSER is funding that we received from the state of Arizona. It's provided by the federal government because of all of the shutdowns that happened during COVID. And so part of the funding that was provided by the federal government to all of the states, including Arizona, was given to the Department of Education specifically so that we could sort of shore up and replace any learning that was missed during the COVID shutdowns. And so Mr. Velasquez's office actually applied. We won about $5.8 million in ESSER Grant funding. And Mr. Velasquez turned around and decided to use that funding to help the schools to provide summer camps and after-school programming, and to expand our Gear Up programs that are in the high schools, to expand our social emotional learning programs, and also our early childhood programs. We're putting preschools in all over the county. And then finally, of course, our arts programming, as you know. And so do you want to tell everybody a little bit of what we got planned in the arts?
So it's a really fortunate situation for us because arts funding is usually the first to get cut or the first class to get removed from a school because of the way that art is viewed across the nation and internationally. But I think it's really cool that we've put this focus back on art so that we can provide after-school programs, we can provide summer camps for students in the community. We have several economic development projects in the form of murals and creative placemaking. And there's a lot of new opportunity here for learning, for students to acquire skills that normally they'd have to pay for excessively. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool to see all of these things come together and the students be able to go into digital photography or painting or muralism or digital storytelling. And with this history project, we have a lot of student artists that are going to contribute their photos, their documents, anything that they've prepared. And I don't know, I'm really excited.
That's very cool. And so what is this history project?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Alex LaPierre. I'm really privileged to be a part of this great project from the Santa Cruz County Superintendent's Office. I'm the director of Borderlandia, which is a local binational organization committed to building public understanding. And the county's hired me on to serve as principal historian for this great, wonderful Santa Cruz County history exhibition. And that's actually what we wanted to talk to you today about. It's going to be housed in the historic 1904 courthouse. The two south rooms, as well as a portion is also going to be held over at the Pimeria Alta Historical Museum. And so we wanted to take the time today to reach out to the public and let them know about this wonderful project and how each and every one of you can actually be involved as a Santa Cruz County resident or Nogales resident as well. Aisa, do you want to talk a little bit more about what this project is?
So it's a history exhibition about Santa Cruz County and Nogales going back to... How far back are we going?
We're going back to the prehistory, so before written records, so the indigenous past, all the way up to the present, really. So,
Personally, I'm super excited with the oral histories, especially that the students are going to be taking of other community members that have had really nostalgic experiences about different things that maybe no longer exist, like the railroad. With La Línea, we have a lot of people come by and talk about their experiences shopping at Crest and the smell of popcorn and these like core memories that the younger generations aren't privy to. We don't have the same experiences, but being able to hear them and acknowledge them and resonate with them and with our own experience, I think is going to be a really cool part of the project.
Oh, totally.
For sure. And I also, for me, it was so exciting. I think a lot of people, it seems like especially a lot of young people don't realize how important Nogales has been to Arizona, how important and unique our history is in terms of Buffalo Soldiers, that border, the border wall. When people noticed it, as you were mentioning when we were chatting before the show, do you want to share that story?
Yeah, it was hearing from a senior citizen here in Nogales, and he was telling me about the first time that he realized that there was actually a wall or a border wasn't until John F. Kennedy was assassinated. So that day, the school children that was over here on the Arizona side that lived over on the Mexico side, they couldn't return back to their homes. And for me, I thought that was just an amazing story because now the border's so present, it's visible, it's militarized. But back then in the 60s, there was almost no conception of the border, at least for the youth, being that young. And it wasn't until that, that historical event that they could understand, hey, we're here at this crossroads, this international crossroads between two countries. And I think that's what you're leading to is why the importance of Nogales is just, from economic, from the cultural standpoint, from artistic standpoint too, is just, with the recent history, is just amazing. And so I think this museum, this exhibition is really going to be a permanent space for not only locals to really kind of get a conception of their history, but also visitors to come down and look at all of the cultural and natural resources that this county, albeit the smallest county in Arizona, it has such a tremendous amount of cultural and natural resources. And we really want to put that on display and have kind of like a landing page, a physical landing page where people can learn, they can reflect, and hopefully go out and visit all these sites and be inspired.
Cool. No, I think it's super exciting. And as you were talking, I was thinking, when we think of history, I was starting to think about the conflicts, like the Border Patrol checkpoint, right, how that's changed over the years, how it's changed our experience in Santa Cruz County, since it sort of, scoops us in and separates us from other counties in a way. But yet, I'm just realizing the other side, the positive side, what we've offered. A good friend of mine, that we have families who've been around, the Smiths, the Capons, the Coreys, probably the Huertas, right? The Sedgwicks have been here for some time, but not as established as some of our other families. But I know that my friends have often pointed out that Santa Cruz County, that we sent perhaps more people to, there are more veterans from Santa Cruz County, like per capita, something like that, that our community has benefited the entire state and even the nation in a way. And it's time for our young people to know it and be very proud of what we've done. No?
Right. Yeah, I think the cool part about this grant is that being that it's an ESSER grant, that we want to involve the youth in the exhibition creation and also connect them with the team of people that are the content creators for this exhibition. So right now what I'm doing is basically assembling about over 24 people that are all experts in their subject material. So, we have an expert on the railroad and how significant that was to the birth of Nogales. We have an expert on the produce industry. We have an expert on the ecology. And so we really want to link the youth with those experts and let them gain the skills and abilities too, as a part of this project, as part of building this project. And I think that's what really sets this project apart. And what's really interesting is that it's being community sourced. So if, like right now, I'm looking for someone that's an expert on the history of a model. So if you're out there and you're expert history on a model, let me know. Send us a message. We'll provide contact information at the end of the segment here. So.
Absolutely, and it's a great point about us working directly with community members. And Aisa and I will reach out to the schools to try to contact teachers, but please reach out to us if you have any kind of ideas. And now I also want to ask Aisa just a little bit. We've got this mural program, and I know we're here to talk about history, but I do want to talk about those murals because just in my personal opinion, and I think probably research has shown, and you can talk about that please, what murals can do for community and how putting a beautiful painting up on a wall just absolutely changes the entire vibe of that community, and how our students are putting murals up all over Nogales, as well as our local artists. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
So I think we're at a really cool point in development as a community, especially here in the downtown area. So many artists have worked together to establish something that creates change. And the History Project, in collaboration with the Arts District, in collaboration with the Superintendent's office, moving down here to the 1904 courthouse and really grounding this area, bringing people downtown. We had so many students last summer that had never been downtown. They didn't have a reason to come down here. They weren't shopping at these stores, and so they didn't need to come down here. And I think this is such a vital part of our history and of our community. And it's something that's been decaying slowly over time. And I think people that live here or business owners have kind of felt that anguish that, along with the border closings and the recessions, and it just feels like hit after hit after hit, for a community that's really navigating this nationwide discrepancy or, prejudice to what might be happening here. I think through the course of these projects developing, I've noticed the way that other communities view us, or assume that we have nothing to offer, or are afraid to come here because of safety, without really knowing anything about the community members or anything that's happening here. And so with the History Project, in collaboration with the students, the murals are such a powerful way to reclaim the narrative of this area. Cool. Because we wanted people that were coming to gawk at the border and the concertina wire and to really absorb this mountain of fear that we've created around the situation. We wanted to have something along the way that they could stop and look at and receive information and narratives from community members firsthand. Whereas if we publish books or websites or host gallery openings, there's a lot of potential to miss people. Murals are in your face. They don't ask for permission. They're there all the time, and you get to be a passive viewer of them. But I think they're really, really powerful in the way that they've changed the community. They've given a sense of pride for people who are bringing visitors, like, come check out the murals we have downtown. Yeah. It's created a lot of skills for students, because every mural has a student component to it. So students are learning these skills. They're learning how to create businesses out of the skills, so cool. If they want to. And it's also an investment in this area that's been decaying slightly. And so it's creative placemaking, it's economic development, it's encouraging people to come down here and celebrate, to gather, to form another part of the community where we're all kind of focused on revitalization and bringing things up and connecting to each other. And I think it's cool to see how these completely different projects are kind of molding together in this sopita of wonderful creativity that's really nourishing to all of us.
That's so awesome. Aisa Huerta for mayor. Yay! No, sorry. No, Mr. Maldonado, we love you too. But it's really exciting, and I can feel your passion when you talk about it. And I love that we're doing this together. Is there anything else that you want to discuss or add?
Well, just to touch on Aisa, I think, this idea of forcing people to remember this art rather than forcing people to remember the concertina wire when they come to Nogales is something beautiful. Don't let them look twice because of that wire. Make them look twice because, oh, wow, look at this beautiful new mural on La Cinderella. I want to find out who is that person and the history behind who that beautiful woman is depicted on La Cinderella.
Who is that person?
It's Taita. It's the grandmother. It's the Evan Corey's grandmother who gave the name for the store, La Cinderella. I know some people have confused her with Frida Kahlo, so we wanna make sure that history exhibition tells that piece as well. And so if you're a local community member and you want to tell a part of your history, please approach us. Please reach out to us. We want to tell those stories. We want to tell the stories that we want to leave people remembering Nogales in a positive light, like the art is doing. I really think we're at the tip of the lance of a really wonderful cultural renaissance here in Nogales. And I'm really pleased to be a part of this team of artists, movers and shakers. And I think that what we're going to achieve is something really incredible, and it's going to be good for not only Nogales, but the binational region too. So.
Oh, Aisa, now you have competition for mayor. Go, Alex LaPierre.
Vice President.
I actually really like working with Alex because I was born and raised here. But I feel like every time we meet, every time we have a conversation, you bring up some sort of information or new fact or enlightening evidence that I had not considered, not heard about. Do you want to talk a little bit about the artifact that they found?
Yes, the artifact. Yes, so right behind our backyards here, right along the Santa Cruz River, just on the other side of the mountains here, an archaeologist believes that she's found the oldest evidence of what could be a European settlement in what's now the United States of America. And her name is Denny Seymour, and she believes that she's found a settlement of the Coronado expedition. And if it's the case, it will transform American history, and it will be right here in Santa Cruz County. And so we're really pleased to have her working along in the project, as well as OTAM advisors too that she has on our team to tell the story of the Sobaipuris, the riverine OTAM that lived along the Santa Cruz River here in Santa Cruz County. And we're also excited to collect other artifacts too, to highlight and have a tangible piece that people can feel like I'm looking at history. I know Evan mentioned that Tony Velasquez has one of the original tile roofing materials from the railroad depot that's since been demolished. And we actually have a local artist, Jorge Ruiz, who's doing a scale model of the railroad depot. And I think it's we're going to have the scale model to give people conception of what was lost right downtown and really the reason for Nogales' being. But not only that, a piece of the history. Someone thought to save this tile from the demolition. So I think that's just a beautiful example of what this exhibition is going to have for the public, really.
That's so cool. And, that actually brings up a question. So I have family members who live out there, on North River Road and heading toward Patagonia. And I'm sure they're not the only ones. But we all love to go outside and forage. And in fact, my cousin has a metal detector and has found really awesome ancient artifacts. They tell me that they find all the time the tip of arrows or shaped rocks. Yeah. Would you be interested in learning about that stuff from the things that the community has found?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, there's been road shows, Coronado road shows, where there's been a call out to the public, hey, if you found any kind of artifacts, come, we're having an event, almost like Antiques Roadshow, to bring people and show, So maybe there's someone out there that has an artifact that was like, hey, you know what? I think this needs to be in the public eye so that they can appreciate and be inspired. Let us know. Give us contact us, and hopefully can be on display over there at the 1904 courthouse or even the P. Maria Alta Museum. So
neat. That's really neat.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And so some of the other people that we have involved, we have professional photographers, we have professional artists, we have ecologists. We're really blessed to have Luke Swenson and Jack Dash, who just did an incredible Atascosa Borderlands project. And so I think that the strength of this exhibition is really that it's community sourced, that we've got all these different people that are really experts in their own fields, and they're bringing all of that to the plate here. And so my job is basically assembling all of that and processing it through our design schematic. And then eventually we're looking at possibly in the fall of next year for the opening as well. And so we're looking to get together with students, in the fall and the spring to involve them with this project as well. So Nogales High School, perhaps also Rio Rico High School. So if you're interested, reach out to us, please.
That's fantastic. And one more plug to please follow We Love Nogales if you're viewing this video because somebody sent it to you. And we've been relying heavily on We Love Nogales to be a touchstone for communication in the community. I know that we've got all sorts of websites, Viva Nogales, and there's many websites.
Yeah.
But We Love Nogales is the one that we've chosen to bring all of the different sources of communication together. So please make sure that you follow, like, subscribe. You can find We Love Nogales. I should know more about this, but on Roku, there's
on Facebook. Live,
Spotify, YouTube.
Yeah. And-
Fire Stick TV, Instagram, you name it. We Love Nogales is on it.
And we're so pleased because Edgardo, the man behind We Love Nogales, is on our team as well. So he's going to be the AV guy. He's going to be the companion website guy. So really, I mean, talk about all the great people of Santa Cruz County. They're here on this. So come on, let us know that you're interested, and we want to hear from you.
And it's the whole Munoz family. Did you have any last thoughts before we sign off?
One last thought, if anybody who wants to access the information of the exhibition and doesn't live here.
It doesn't live here. It'll be digitally available. Edgardo is going to make pretty much a companion website, and also involved with the exhibition is going to be a kind of amended version, a shorter version, a more comprehensive version that's going to be a traveling exhibition. So not only is it going to have a permanent place here in Nogales, but also we want to spread the good word about Nogales. We want to share the 99% good news that's often neglected in the news media about our community.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're going to highlight too with the exhibition. We want to break those myths of the border, and we want to show that we can be good neighbors here. I think that's really at the heart of this project too. So our interconnectedness. This is a cultural crossroads, a commercial crossroads, and this exhibition is going to celebrate that.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you so much, Mr. Edgardo Munoz and family. And we will see you again soon.
Bye-bye, guys. Thanks for your time.